It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon just down the road from the White House here at our nation's capital, where LAC Sports Network presents our high school lacrosse game of the week. This afternoon, Fordham Prep out of New York City venturing south to take on Gonzaga College High. And we bring you into the booth, everybody, alongside Matt DeSilva, Matt Martucci. Hope you're enjoying the start of your Easter week, your spring break, or if you're just at the office watching, hopefully the boss doesn't know. But this is how we spring break, and we have a great matchup today, a pair of teams that are trying to springboard themselves into their respective conference seasons.
A rare high school lacrosse matinee, beautiful day in D.C., and really, for both of these teams, this could be a tone setter for the rest of the season as they head into conference play.
Well, tone setter for the Rams and their keys to the game. What are we looking for Fordham?
They have no misgivings about being the underdogs in this team, so just play loose, maybe get a little bit lucky. You know, as teams have done against Gonzaga this season, they've set this one as a barometer for a loss that they want to avenge from last year. And so they can do so if they just play loose. Don't settle for the first opportunity that you get on offense. That was a problem in a loss to Wilton. They only scored one goal in that game. Really try to be patient on offense. And then Fordham Prep is a team that really predicates itself on defense. They feed off their defense. So protect the interior, force outside shots, give goalie James Corasaniti the shots he wants to see, and you might be successful today. Yeah,
that loss to Wilton, the only one that they had all year. As we take a look at the Fordham players to watch, they take their cues from the attack unit, and their leader there is Thomas Mara.
No doubt he's the cute quarterback of this offense, and he has great vision. If Fordham Prep has any chance today to pull this upset, he's going to have a big game.
And move it over in between the pipes where it's, as you mentioned, James Corasaniti, another guy that they're sending to Fairfield. This program's been a pipeline up there.
And this is a good young goalie. He got hot last year with a young Fordham Prep team to lead them to a CHSAA AA state title. They really can bank on him.
Over to the other side. Last time we had Gonzaga on our air, a loss to Boys Latin, but have won 3 of their last 4. The keys for Casey O'Neill's bunch.
Build off your fundamentals. Despite a couple of hiccups the last few weeks, Boys Latin, McDonough, Casey O'Neill likes what he sees in this regard. He sees progress. Trust in each other and have loud communication on the field to back it up. And then fun, fast production. Gonzaga likes to use these non-conference games to test their limits, play an up-tempo style. Expect to see that here today.
The Gonzaga players to watch hasn't changed much on the offensive side of the ball. Jack Myers is always a guy that we're going to focus on, and for good reason.
I can't wait to see what this kid does at Harvard. I mean, he's only a junior, but when he gets there, I see him doing for the Crimson what Dylan Malloy has done at Brown in terms of being a big, able-bodied attackman and the centerpiece of an up-tempo offense.
And over to the face-off X. Big shoes to fill for Luke Gilday. We talked ad nauseum almost about Nick McAvoy last year because he was just so good, but Gilday's done a pretty good job filling in.
Sure, McAvoy now at Penn State as a short-stick defensive midfielder there, so Gilday certainly big shoes to fill. He's done well so far, 53%. Look for him to try to break out and continue to improve as the season goes along.
Long trip for Fordham Prep to come down here and play Gonzaga. Pre-game thoughts with head coach Chris Hemsley. The third member of our team, Jeremy Hubert, caught up with him before the game.
Well, Chris, early in the week you had the tough one against Wilton. How have the guys been since that matchup as they look forward to playing another tough team in Gonzaga?
The guys have been pretty good. We had a good practice on Tuesday, and it was a good learning experience for us. They realized that we came out flat, and really we didn't give ourselves a shot to get an upset against Wilton. But yeah, Tuesday's practice was very positive. We went back to fundamentals, day one stuff, working on the defense and the offense, and just reviewing things and kind of just building guys' confidence again.
You upset Gonzaga 3 years ago. Is there anything you can take from that game to this game?
Well, they actually have no holdovers from that game, and it was a little different. They were very young that year, and we were a ton of veterans on that team. So, you know, I guess the only thing we could take is the guys here, a couple of their older brothers are on that team, so at least they know it's possible. So, you know, they have the belief, and that's probably about it. As far as stuff on the field, it's completely different guys, so not much going on there.
Good luck today, Chris.
Thank you.
Obviously a tough challenge for Chris Hemsley and this Fordham Prep program. For Casey O'Neill, potentially a shorthanded lineup today on the defensive side of the ball. Jeremy Huber asked him about that.
Casey, got to start off asking you about your long pole, Will Rock. Obviously important player for you. What's his status for today, and any changes depending on what that status is?
Yeah, he's going to play today. You know, there's been a bug, not necessarily with our team, but you just hear a lot of people talking about it. A little bit of flu, but we sent him home from practice yesterday. Might not start, but you'll see Big 39 out there getting it done at some point in this game.
Casey, it seems like you're really excited to play this game, a non-conference game in the middle of a tough conference schedule. Some coaches want no part of that. Why are you excited to go ahead and play a quality team like Fordham Prep out of conference?
Well, you're as good as your last game, and we want to play the best. I don't care if it's McDonough, Fordham Prep, Boys Latin, Georgetown Prep, whoever it is. We want to play the best to get us ready for our conference, and it's a beautiful day. This is a great Jesuit school we're going to battle with, and let's go.
Good luck today, Casey.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jeremy. Thanks.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's a rivalry that's developed over the last couple of years. Fordham Prep and Gonzaga. Fordham Prep the brown, Gonzaga the white. And ready to roll this afternoon.
The thing for Fordham Prep in this game, they get a nice long road trip, time to kind of settle in. They maybe see the sights yesterday, get to stay overnight in a hotel, and then they're just laser focused on this game. Sometimes I feel like the road team has a little bit of an advantage in that regard. Just
had a look at their starting lineup. Mara, Natkin, and Gilchrist, all ones to watch in that attack unit, and then Mac Randall leads them in the midfield. Zupakic, their top ground ball player on the defensive unit. Gilday and Coppola. And taken by Gonzaga. Sam Sweeney, the long pole. And looking out there, Will Rock is in fact on the field. There had been some question as to whether or not he would actually get into the starting lineup, and the thought was going to be Ben Finley would take his place.
And it remains to be seen how much he does in fact play, especially if Gonzaga builds a big lead. They might want to rest him, but I'm curious to see if they get Finley down low and Sweeney and Finley on the field at the same time. That could be a really dynamic duo for them.
Eagles starting lineup, Alt, Myers, and Lynch across the board, as Townsend has that one taken out of the stick by Corasaniti. And we get a look at the talented goaltender right off the bat.
One of the things I noticed about him watching some film is he's so patient, very patient in his crouch, and then at the last second he'll explode to the ball.
In between the boxes, Barrios able to bring it into the Gonzaga attack zone. Fordham Prep just under 10 goals a contest, giving up about 5. Only scored though once, as Matt DeSilva mentioned, in that loss to Wilton, which was their last game.
Yeah, they were on a real heater up until then, had won 6 straight games, but that was their first real competition and maybe a little bit of a cold splash of water and a time to sort of rededicate themselves to their fundamentals.
About a minute and 25 seconds into this one with Matt DeSilva, Matt Martucci, Jeremy Huber on the sideline, our entire fine LAC Sports Network crew. Fordham Prep and Randall thinking about drawing first blood. Nice idea, cutting toward the cage, but out of bounds, and a turnover on the pass over to Gonzaga. Gonzaga, meanwhile, beaten badly by McDonough. 9 goals, 14-5. Jumped out 1-0 early and then found themselves in a big hole pretty quickly.
They really don't duck anyone in their schedule. 6-5, but all 5 losses to nationally ranked teams. So that's a little bit deceiving as far as this being potentially a, quote, down year for Gonzaga. Wait till they get into WCAC play, and that's when they can really hit their stride.
Right now handling Borda, who will also be headed to Fairfield eventually. Just had a chance to see his brother on our air, Matt, last week. Fairfield and Drexel, but the errant pass and a turnover for Gonzaga. Zupakic.
They've got numbers.
Out in the open field, cannons that one and out of bounds. It'll be backed up by Mara.
They really like this kid, Zupakic. 11 calls, turnovers on the season. That would be his 12th. Very disruptive. Also, 6 deflections. They keep that as a stat at Fordham Prep, which really tells you about the nature of their defense and how they like to be off ball.
Almost a year ago to this point, 10-goal win for Gonzaga. What was a dominant season for the Purple Eagles. Only 2 losses the entire 2016 campaign en route to another WCAC championship. Falling down and out of bounds on the shot, but we get the penalty flag and an EMO opportunity coming for the Rams.
Nice job by Gilchrist there on the wing dodge, drawing the push from behind. It's a good man opportunity here for the Rams.
Let's get a look.
You see him fake as if he's going upfield, just give himself enough of an angle down low to get an approach to the cage.
And Joey Murphy, one of the starting defenders, along with Schaffner and Rock.
Gonzaga's rebuilding a little bit on that end.
Back behind to X. And top of the zone and a bounce shot and out of bounds. Mara.
I like what I'm seeing out of Fordham Prep early. They're not holding their sticks too tight. They're being patient on offense.
Gilchrist, the one on that backup. Yeah, and you feel like they have to do that in order to be able to win this game. It has to be more of a possession game. If they get into a more up-tempo style type game, that would favor Gonzaga, don't you think?
I mean, you just need to look at their benches to also see the depth that Gonzaga has compared to Fordham Prep. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to ride their first lines pretty hard, and they need to give them a chance to rest.
Mac Randall plays it back to the top of the zone. Madden ain't going across the body with the bouncer, Darty. And again, another backup.
You'd like to see him stick with an overhand shot there. He got himself the angle. He's still a little bit raw as a lacrosse player, but probably their best overall athlete.
And off the fortuitous carom, Darty ends up with it again. But ground ball with the turnover. Rock takes it away. Almost halfway gone here in the first quarter. As the short stick Thompson briefly loses the footing. And brought through by Sweeney.
See Fordham Prep riding hard with a penalty coming, but the ride was a big focus of theirs this week, trying to create turnovers in the middle of the field.
Sweeney chasing that down, and now we'll get the call. It's the tricky thing here about Buchanan Field. It's the football scoreboard, but they don't have the actual feature to put it up to tell you how much time is left in the EMO. So when it actually does come, you're kind of guessing.
Yeah, so officials will keep it on the field, and you can be certain there's coaching staff members that are doing the same.
So after the push call, already about halfway gone, bouncer, and they get on the board. Gonzaga strikes first. And guess who? Ends up being Townsend.
Yeah, Jack Myers drawing a lot of attention on this extra man possession, and rightfully so, behind the goal. And then you just see Townsend come streaking from up top, get inside the seams of that man-down defense. Here's Myers with it. Nice one-touch to Townsend for the goal.
21st of the year, 29th point for Brian Townsend, who's headed to Penn State. And a win for Gilday to set it up again. Down low, the spin and the score. It's Alt.
Pretty fast break here. Right off the face-off, and this is what Gonzaga likes to do. Force the issue out of the gate.
That first line unit, Alt and Townsend. Townsend representing the midfield. Let's look at Alt.
Right off the face-off, and there's Alt with the big finish.
How about that 180? That was pretty good footwork
yeah,
there.
you think he would have gone to the inside. Instead, he spun outside and put it in the back of the goal. Good presence around the cage.
Another win for Gilday, and Sweeney up off the carpet. Transition for the Eagles, and again! This time Finley. The second time this season, second time on our air.
This kid is so smooth. Getting the ball off the carpet, pushing it in transition. See him running the break. It's a great feed right there to Finley. Long pole, and he finishes it. These Gonzaga long poles are very confident handling the ball in their sticks.
Ben Finley had an early goal the last time we had them against Boys Latin. Helped Gonzaga jump out. And let's send it down to the third member of our team, Jeremy Huber.
Thanks, guys. It's always important to remember that lacrosse is just a game. No one has a better appreciation of that than Fordham Prep's Ryan Gilchrist. During his 7th grade year, Gilchrist started experiencing stomach pains. His parents had to check him into the hospital, where he was discovered to have non-Hodgkin's B-cell lymphoma. Under the care of the world-renowned oncologist and B-cell lymphoma expert Dr. Mitchell Cairo, Gilchrist started chemotherapy and was completely cancer-free in 90 days. But Ryan also credits his support network, a group of family, friends, and teammates called Team Gilly after his nickname. Guys, back to you.
Excellent, Jeremy, and great to see Ryan out there and obviously healthy and playing a good brand of lacrosse, too, in that attack unit.
Yeah, he's a top scorer for the Rams, but more so, obviously,